This DJ's so funky, man.
On 3, 2, 1. Activate.
This is the RDDC podcast.
Welcome to the Real Double Dose channel. This is your host Lex, coming to you straight from the heart, where the talk is real and the vibe is always live. I'm happy and blessed to be here with you today, and all those who are listening and are going to be tuning in, because here, serving a slice of everyday life is what RDDC is all about, has been all about, and will be all about. For any questions, show requests, or feedback, as always, you can reach us at realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com and realdoubledosechannel@yandex.com. That's realdoubledosechannel@yandex.com for any customer inquiries and so forth, and anything else under the sun that you can think of. And you can always check out realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com. That's been a little in the water for the Blogspot, but we are always going to put new content up there for you. But at the same time, we have the Facebook page that is up and running, and we have so many more things. This is also brought to you by GimmeAllThat.com, which is the place for fashion apparel and so much more at wonderful prices that we all love. And they will be rolling out their introductory URLs for those who are related to us and customary and familyans, RDDC familyans, and so much more. And their grand opening will be happening here, and I think the next week or so. So, without further ado, let's get on this. We have Anthony, Angela, we have Sheila, we also have Bobby that is here sometimes to say hello, and they're all going to be a part of the family and always here for you to answer your questions as well. You can also reach us at alignable.com, as well as other services that are allowed and offered on linkedin.com. We have our YouTube channel still coming out, I know, but hey, we're making steps forward. But I want to do a drum roll for myself and just say that we have a special, well, they're always special, but this one is special. This segment is called One Touch. That's right, One Touch. And these, as many as our family is, this is also dedicated to a wonderful two gentlemen that are downtown right now in Minnesota, Rutch, and they are always having faith and hope and love through all the storms that pass them and come through, and all the rainbows that come as well. And their smiles can be seen from miles away, and it keeps me going when I see them persevere. And I had told him, this one particular gentleman that gave me a hug on Tuesday, I believe, again, that I was going to have this One Touch episode dedicated to him, and also the other, specifically for the purposes of their healing process and all of our healing processes that can be brought along. So let's dive right in. When we go through life and so many things that happen to us, the ones who have read the passages of the scriptures, the ones that believe in the promises of the infinite source and the creator of all things, and not to be formed into just a book of pages or stories that come from an untold fable or fairy tale. It comes from the realness of what we deal with every single day. Now, I was just telling my wonderful soon-to-be husband, fiance, that although there may be different ways we've been growing up, whether it be religious backgrounds or indigenous areas or whatever it may be, all of us have an understanding that the trees are blowing their leaves all around. The wind is coming from where we do not know. The sky is above our heads and the ground is beneath our feet. And we can all give praise and homage to what is and what has came to be. No matter how bad it may be, no matter how great the times may have, we're going to go a little extra back in the day, if you know what I'm saying. You can call it biblical, you can call it Prince of the Times, whatever it may be, it's about that time. Now, I can't say quote for word, you know how I am now. But I remember this story, and I had went through some of these things myself, where I had the issue of the woman of the Bible who continually kept bleeding. It might be a little personal, but at the same time, what else can we be if we're family? But it was her garment, just going on and on, dealing with this blood issue. I don't know if it was 20 some odd years, 30 some odd years she went through. I know for me it was at least 15 plus years. And it rung my head to the bells, where I could not figure out what to do, how many doctors to go to. I was literally a Mayo Clinic baby. And I say that with respect to the hospital, but at the same time, when you're living in that hospital all the time and appointments back to back, staying overnight, one doctor to another doctor, you feel like you are a guinea pig sometimes. Sometimes you feel like a lab rat. And sometimes you genuinely know that they are putting their best into doing all they can and knowing how much they come through. We can't expect the same humanity to be, put down for what they put their best efforts and their livelihood into. But at the same time, medicinal, holistic, the herbs of the earth, all those things come into effect as well from where they started to begin with, before any kind of man-made substance or degrees were ever given. We are given the same amount of healing that we are suffering. And we are also given the same amount of happiness that we are pain. It all becomes a part of the matrix of how we live our lives. And that's what I want to get into the one touch. Don't let the presence of a storm indicate the absence of the infinite one. Let me say it again. Don't let the presence of the storm or the storm, a storm, indicate the absence of God. That is where we have our health storms, our physical storms, our financial storms, emotional storms. Not the rain and the thunder and the lightning necessarily that comes over us, although, may all the blessed souls be from all the tragedies that are happening and all the natural disasters that are coming our way and rolling over those who are still coming up. And I know my family has been in Florida, as well as many other families have been around here dealing and suffering with the losses of their homes and lives, and so much in our hearts. So we'll always go, and our prayers are constantly going towards you and those out there and all of us. All I know is that it's easy for someone to give us an umbrella if they see us walking outside in the rain. If they see a cut on us and we're bleeding, it's easy for them to give us some antiseptic or a Band-Aid. But at the same time, when we're dealing with that inner storm, the inner pains that come with it, that's when we have our breaking and our testing times. We smile and we dress up and we seem to have all the answers from the outside. But inside it's a whole nother level. It's our secret storm. Not a physical one to where someone can catch it with the eye, per se, but a secret storm. The secret storm where no one knows the horrors going on inside. We then begin to think that if God was with us, we would have no problems, absolutely no worries, no pain, no troubles, no tears. If God was on our sides, we have no family issues, no death. All would be so smooth. But it just comes down to you cannot see in a storm. You cannot see in a storm. That's why when it's going on, all we can do is hope that it'll be over with soon, and hope that everything that was touched by it will be to a point of understanding that we can handle the measurements of where it came from. And that's why he told us to walk by faith and not by sight. Walk by faith and not by sight. The Creator won't apply to our known comforts to assure us of the pressures that we deal with, because it is forever forever that he'll be with us. When we come into troubles, God's light and his help will always be there forevermore. And his promises is engraved even if we cannot connect to the sight of what we wish to see. So I just want to put that out there. I know it sounded like more of a monologue, but that had to come out a little bit more smoother in my mind to say it. So let me dive in a little deeper. When we seem to go through all these things, and we go through these things, I know myself, I've had those points to where I would always be like, oh, well, even though I grew up in the seventh day, and I still believe in that day of the seventh of the Sabbath, I still have those problems where I have conflict of interest, so should I say, where I'm always like, oh, well, I guess this is not happening because this wouldn't happen. Oh, are you really there for me? It's sarcastic stuff that doesn't need to be said, but I'm saying it anyway, like a child mad at his parents or mad at an issue, and I regret those things immediately. We can't always seem to be on the right path and always think that only time that God is with us is when we're on the right path. As soon as when something bad happens to knock us down, oh, God left us. His footprints are no longer in the sand, so he can't be carrying us. It's just us by ourselves. We all have these conditionary problems. We have a problem to think that when everything goes smooth, that's when we're loved. When everything goes to or exactly as planned, that's when the plan is meant to be. But I tell you this, the troubles that we face on a daily basis, the little known must-haves and the have-dones and the will-dos, all that does have a divine plan. And it all has a divinity course. And in my perspective, that's what I see. It's not about how many trials we go through alone. It's about how many trials we're going through when the infinite source of all creation is right there with us. If you have everything in your life so panned out and so smoothly, how can you ever expect any miracle or any blessing or anything else to come forth? If you are loving and taking care of a child its whole life, but yet he has or she has yet to know whom it is, how can that be? When that child scrapes his knee or has to tie his shoe and you come there to help them out through their tests and trials, only then will they get the understanding of how deeply you have been connected with them. It's not about how many times we fall down. It's about how many times we stand up. Now, it might sound cliche, but that's what it is. The whole thing is that when I was going through that, let me bounce back to where I was, and notorious for that too, but that's Lex. It's not about, when I was sitting there going through that. I mean, many years I was thinking, man, am I ever going to be able to have children? Am I ever going to be able to have this thing going on? I can't never seem to have a break where a woman will have a week worth of her moon season and she's all having a headache, and yet I'm having years of it. How much can I be loved? How can I give the word and the hope of peace and love and hope and happiness when on the back end I have a bad day and a horrible day and I feel like doom is running over me? How can I be the anointed one and the calling of which I have, but yet go through all these tests and trials? We were not promised a life of things to never touch us. We were not promised a unscathed path of nothing but smooth sailing. We weren't promised those things. We were promised to be loved and helped throughout the courses and the troubles that come. And in my opinion, and many others' opinion, and for what I foresee in my truth, and then the storms that have came over me in my life, the only thing that ever got me through was the Creator itself. There is no such thing as a coincidence in my book, and maybe to some degree there might be. But there's no way that I can be walking on the side of a highway not knowing what to do in the dark with my friends and speak to God in my mind, and all of a sudden a car pulls up and brings us where we have to go, gives us money, and makes sure we're okay. Never see their face again? Okay. There's no way that those things could happen. And some people are maybe, I asked for a couple $1,000s to pay my house payment. No answers came there. We don't have all the answers to life, but there's a reason to why it's happening in that season. My fiance took sick. Now, he got sick. He's okay now, I believe. I hope he's going to be a little bit more better. And he's wondering, why? Why am I here in this situation? It could be for the sickness itself to clear his mind from the clarity of the noise going on. It could be for a different reason to figure out the next step. We don't know why they happen. And some things just happen. Maybe there is no deeper meaning or reason. But one touch is what we all yearn for. Sometimes it's a hug. Sometimes it's a handshake. Sometimes it's an embracement that you feel their love. Sometimes it's that eye contact of one touch to look into another person's soul and give them yours. Hold their burden in your hand for that one split second so you can be able to give them peace and understand that through all the concrete that they're going through, there's a patch of green grass that's soft underneath their feet. The one touch we all yearn for, to touch the hem of his garment and be healed. Oh, I tell you, RDDC families, I wish and I knew and I have that. But the only thing that I know I've been missing is to have consistency and constant faith in the things that are to be, and never let go of touching his hem or touching his hand, or knowing that when it is my time to go, it is my time to leave. When it's my time to make a mark, it's my time to make a mark. When it's my time to make a move, it's my time to make a move. It might be a day, it might be an hour, however long we're given in this world, live it to its fullest, because you don't know what you got until it's gone. And that is true around wherever you live. When I sit there and hold money in my pocket, I'm sitting here, thank you, God, for this. But why does this car problem have to pop up? Why is this? Why is that? Well, regardless of how it is, my needs are met. The love is there, no matter how we look at it. And we're given all tools and gifts that no one else will ever have. And if they do have it, they'll never have it like you and I, because it was given to us specifically for the reasons of us being who we are. No matter if you're sitting there on $1 billion or $1 million, you're never going to go to the next life with that at all. So it's not the point of, oh, I got a diagnosis, let me give $100,000 away tomorrow. It's not that, but live to your fullest you. Live to the best of what you can. We want to, like those gentlemen downtown and many others, but specifically for that, we were speaking about touching the hem of the garment. If we could just touch that and be healed. But I realize even more so now that the hem of that garment is already in our hands. It's in our hands, sitting there, resonating with us. It's our faith and our truth and our love and our hope. It is a divine intervention that has been given to us. And without that doubt, and planting that seed of doubt, and put more plant and seeds in love, no matter what the future may foretell, told, or gives us, all we have to do is press our hands together and be healed by that. Because sometimes the healing is not going to just come generated from a diagnosis and saying, oh, you're completely fine. Something's going to be healing from the inside of us that's been shaking the core of us, that's been giving us that ailment or that pain or whatever it might be. No matter what. There's some people that smoke their whole lives and never have a problem. There's some people like my auntie, God rest her soul, that's been sitting there having a nice vegan life and staying away from all of that and still passed away from horrible breast cancer. It's just the whole point. We don't know why, what happens, and when, but we know that it happens. And surely as we're given life, we will be given death. That is the truth of it. Unless we make it to the time where we can see the love of our Father come embrace us on a direct path. The only thing I know is that one touch starts from where we're at right now. That one touch starts in the belief system. Not in a person, not in a prescription, but the belief factor of what we have. There's been tests given to where the people have took strychnine. I've talked about the rice experiment, all that stuff. But these gentlemen or these people, this group, been given strychnine. And the only thing, it killed every single thing that digested it. It's strychnine. But with their belief intact that nothing would happen to them, they never fell sick, they never died, and they're still breathing to this day. You could research that, or I could try to find the link, but I'm notorious for being a little sidetracked. But at the same time, that's what I mean. It's the belief and the faith and the value systems of what we have. It's always the things yet hoped for and not seen, and hoped for and given into us. That's what it is. And I still pray for healing of all kinds of things that are going on in my life, where we have to wear a smile, and some of us put our makeup on and dress up, and we're just, oh, they look so good, they smell so good, they can pay for their meal, they must be having a nice life. But we have no idea what kind of tortures and horrors they may be living in their minds and their hearts and their souls and their bodies. We don't know. But sometimes you can reach out and touch somebody's hand and make this world a better place if you can. Now, that's a song. Reach out and touch someone's hand. Sometimes it might be as little as opening up a door for someone, or having that extra cup of juice, or keeping our minds elevated to a point where we don't feel like anything's wrong with us. We have to keep our minds to a consistency of seeing ourselves healed in the same way that the Lord has seen us. Okay, by your faith, you have restored your health. By the way that you perceive life, you have perceived it for yourself. All these things were given to us in our own creative universes, our own dialects. There's been people who have killed themselves over just their words alone, psychologically, and they have not even made it over to be alive in this lifetime right now. There's things that are always going to come for us, no matter where we see them coming. And I feel that chill, like, oh, I don't want to call into existence. Not prepare yourself for disaster, but prepare yourself for great things, and know that disasters will be in that journey, because you're on your way to even more great things. That one touch, and I know, and I'm going to tell you this, my dear friend downtown, my dear friends downtown, to the two gentlemen, when I gave you that hug, it healed me and relieved me more than you'll ever know. So I thank you. And I hope that the hug or the embracement that I gave you could help restore you in a different way, and let my energy fuel in your system and heal you even more so than the creator and divine source and the infinites of all things will do, and is going to do for you, and has already done. It has already been done unto you as you believe. It has already been done to us as we truly believe. No doubts, just pure thoughts of faith, and it being into fruition. That's the whole thing of the sum of all things. When you give that energy to someone and you share that love with someone, the only thing you can get from it is positivity. When you surround yourself around a positive influence, a positive frequency, a positive force field, all you can do is get that more into yourself. It doesn't mean that hard times are going to stay away from us or you, we. It just means it's going to have a harder time basically getting into our little zone. So if we're constantly opening up ourselves for negative energy to come, by gall, it's going to come. But if you hold yourself and you give yourself enough of that love and abundance and faith and hope and happiness for where we stand right now, nothing is going to penetrate that deep enough to knock you back down. It's the story of Job, but the same thing. The father could have said, no, I don't want to do anything with him. Let's keep him in this safe field, keep his money in abundance, all that stuff. But he allowed him to be tested, his great servant, to be tested, to see, would you still love me? Would you still have faith? Would you still have kindness in your heart? Would you still pray to me and give me the same love back in the amount that you have, if you didn't have anything to be thankful for, per se? And that test, regardless if you see it as a parable or a story or whatever it might be, it shows you, even though the adversary, even though the one prowling around like a lion, or maybe our own self-conscious thoughts or our own negative force fields, or the things that come from the spirits, we don't know. We have a mental aspect of it, but hey, we're here. Third dimension, fourth dimension. The whole thing is that did not break him. Taking the money, taking your wife, taking your kids, making you ill, making you lose every single thing that you thought you could wake up and be happy for, did not break the faith, thankfulness, and happy and hope that was still given. And to the beginning of when it was given, it still was the same. That test was given specifically for him to say, hey, I already knew he wasn't going to unwaver, but let's just see if that unwavering could be shaken. And it couldn't. So what that tells me is, Even on my downest days when things look so horrible, when things look like they're just getting gloomier and gloomier, and it makes us test our faith and say, well, I've been giving it all I got and I'm not getting nothing back. Remember, you've already gotten back what you got, that what you have given. Remember that good things and great things are on their way to you. Remember that good things and great things have happened to you. And in effect, you have affected other people's lives in the measurements of how you live. Don't let us doubt the times that the Creator is not with us. Don't let us doubt and not have faith for those things that were given to us in those moments. The troubles that come our way, so we can see even more of His great works and His power and the infinity of all things that work for the good of those who love Him. Don't let a storm create the absence of what you think God is not there. Don't let rain pouring over your head or a battery dying on the side of the road or something else happen initiate or indicate the point that no one's there. The whole point is you don't know. You don't know if your car battery died on the side of that road because you weren't supposed to be at a certain place at a certain time. We don't know if my car's gone in the shop because I'm not supposed to be at a certain place at that certain time, or I need to be somewhere else at that time or finish something. We don't know if we're missing a loaf of bread because we're supposed to have that loaf of bread for another time, or that loaf of bread was not the one we're supposed to have because something was wrong with it. We will never know because it was not meant for us to know. And if we do find out, then we really will know. The whole thing is that one touch means the world, but we hold the one touch in our hands. The whole thing was given to us to understand that when we have everything with faith, belief, abundance, love, hopefulness, thankfulness, and guidance in our hearts, we are that one touch. We're a mass consciousness, giving each other energy, love, faith, wisdom, understanding, intelligence, and so much more, regardless if it's emotional, financial, physical, mental, spiritual. We give each other enough to keep moving forward, and at the same time, we know where that energy comes from for us to be able to give to one another. And the only thing we can do is keep permeating and giving out what was given to us to give all of those. Let the infinite source and the infinite of all creation work through us in order to fulfill the measurements of how we feel fulfilled and happy, and to be able to give those their happiness in return and guide them into a certain way to where they can start receiving more and understanding more from the faith and love and abundance of that. That doesn't just come from sitting in a church pew every weekend. That doesn't just come from walking around with the book in your hand and quoting everything under the world. It comes from knowing that knowing it inside of yourself. If people from backgrounds of all over the place can sit there and have an understanding of not even having anything to do with this quote normal society, if they can sit there under palm trees and open up a coconut, or they can sit there and hunt for their food, and they know how to give homage to the things that are okay for their huts or for their little the villages or the things that they wear, the ramekins, whatever it might be, then obviously we know from listening here and knowing how to tune into a podcast broadcast, we know already what it is. We can look at every single thing to do with cyber. We can look at every single thing to do under the sun. But apart from the TVs, movies, and games and cell phones, we already know that when we go in the store and we look at the apples and the fruit, we have to remember how it was given to us. Not because man packaged it up and put it in the store in mass quantities, but because the fact that it was given and the knowledge was given to man to actually do those things so we can have an easier lifestyle. Okay? And some people aren't as fortunate in that lifestyle, but we don't know what their fortune is. It doesn't mean they have to just come over here or go over there to be blessed. It means they can be blessed in their own measurements of according to their lifestyles of how things work. Sometimes a bucket of water means more to those than a whole $20 million check to some people over here. We never know. So I want to say that one touch, you will receive that one touch. You already are, and you feel it. Manifest the feeling of that one touch that's already belonging to you. Let it permeate your whole system and feel the healing go over your body. See yourself as whole. See yourself as renewed and fresh, and all the things that are or always were meant to be. and let the illnesses of the world and the heaviness and the weight dissipate within that time. Even if you have to fake it until you make it because you made it, you will be blessed. And you already are, beyond measurements. And at the same time, no matter what day is called for you to close your eyes or reopen them, your love has been felt through many, many that you have come by. So that one touch is exactly what we all are in need of, even more so, especially from the creation and the creator of all things. But sometimes, and many times, the creator of all things works through the touch of his children. And that is who we are, the children of the infinite source. So I want to thank you for being on this wonderful segment. We'll have more out there. My love to you, gentlemen. My love to the RDDC familians and all the things that are going to roll out here. And I'm going to make sure I get all the links and to Anthony, or Anthony can get the links so you can tune on in and go over to our Facebook page and make some noise over there if you would so please to when you have a chance. And we'll have that gimmeallthat.com store again coming out with the link for them so you can get your perfect customer little URLs to get your wonderful discounts and freebies. And also with the RDDC realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com, we have apparel store. We have different food for thoughts, motivational videos, tips on cooking, fun little things like that, insights, meditation guides, visualization books, and so much more. And you can always reach us at Real Double Dose Channel at yandex.com. That's yandex.com, just to speak your voice or ask any questions. And we have more questions and answers coming from our RDDC families that have been piling up the wonderful questions, and some wonderful guests coming up here too. And a good friend of ours that is coming from Eurasia, I believe, to have his spoken word on here. And he's a good talker. I put it that way. So just remember, be the change, feel the passion, and embrace the power of the spirit. And remember those words, be the change, okay? Be that full change. Feel the passion within it and embrace the power of the infinite source, the spirit. That is the recipe to all things. And I'm still learning as I go, and we're all learning together. Everything works for the good of those who love him. So all my hearts, all our hearts go to you. We thank you for tuning in, and please stay tuned for more, and we'll be back with you soon.